Now, ladies and gentlemen, we move on to our next session, an exciting topic, something which we have not heard yesterday and something very unique for today's agenda. Power up your contact centers by harnessing artificial intelligence and human expertise and experience. And to present on this topic, I would like to call on stage, and please help me welcome with a big round of applause, Mr. Bharat M. Balan, Chief Growth Officer from 5S Digital. Welcome to the stage, Mr. Balan. And Mr. Balan, all over to you for that fantastic session.
Just wanted to kind of, thank everyone, sitting on the previous panel, because this topic is as a natural progression of what we spoke about. How do you harness AI and the changing face of AI? At least about 3 or 4, different participants from the previous panel spoke about agent assist. And that's the whole, kind of premise of how can we ensure, or, whether it is e-commerce, across multiple industries, in the whole customer experience journey, the whole idea is how do you enable, your customer service agents to harness AI and give better resolutions. So I represent this company called, 5S Digital. We are a tech-led BPM, service provider, been around for about 12, 13 years. So we will talk about certain trends, what we have observed, and certain solutions that we have come up with right now, which we believe, can help solve, customer experience issues. So, the buzzword right now is, generative AI, co-pilots. I think these are words, terms that, was used, right from yesterday till now. As per a Gartner report, by 2027, almost around about 30 to 35% of all transactions will get automated, but which means that 65% of all the transactions, whether it is omni-channel, voice, email, chat, all these interactions will still be human-driven. The flip side is, all the businesses today, could be because of efficiency, because of, speed, agility, costs, for various reasons. Most of the businesses are looking right now, how can you, involve AI, put in chatbots, voice bots, how do you automate the customer touch points, customer self-service options. But from a customer standpoint, right, very honestly, nobody really wants to talk to a bot or a chat, or a chatbot or a voice bot, because when I have a problem, am I interested in going through a 15-second IVR or a 30-second, voice bot or a chatbot, or, it really depends on how effective your chatbot or your voice bot is. From a customer standpoint, they really don't want to kind of speak to a chatbot or a voice bot. So how do you ensure that you make the whole experience very seamless, where you're focusing on customer experience, but at the same time optimizing? So that's the whole premise of this presentation. So I will try to make it very, very simple and give focused on actionable insights and actionable problems, because bots, generative AI are there, but let's talk about real problems. This is something which I hear. I've spent about 25, 26 years in the contact center or the customer experience space. The flip side to what we feel, and is that while your CSAT might be good, your NPS might be good, but there is always a thought that our customers are, we look at probably about 10% of all the customers who would be calling a contact center, and your CSAT is not truly a reflection of what your customer experience is. So the challenges is 10% of the issues are escalated to social channels, if not more. And across most contact centers, we are talking about an average of 12 to 15% of all the conversations are repeat conversations, which means 15% of the cases, at the bare minimum, we have not been able to solve it the first time, right? Could be a system-related issue or an agent capability-related issue. The second aspect of it, which is a bigger problem, is the skill sets available to support, contact centers. One real problem that we have, and nobody's kind of cracked the code, is your attrition. Attrition is one aspect of it, which means at any point of time, we are talking about 30 to 35% of people, who are part of contact centers, less than 60 days or 90 days. So, you talk about a learning curve, right? Typically, there is a bell curve which shows that an agent reaches a saturation or optimal productivity levels anywhere between 90 days to 120 days, right? You could be running your own contact centers, you could be outsourcing it to somebody else, but that's a reality. So what it means is that for the first 90 days, 30% of your customer service staff is delivering a service which is unacceptable, right? Put yourself in the shoes of the customer. That's what it is. So what is the business impact? Customers go away. Everyone's looking at, what is NPS? NPS, your whole NPS journey is tracking, right? What is your impact? And doing an impact analysis. What can you do to ensure that, you're going up the right progression? Most of the companies are always in hire and training mode. Specifically true for banking, specifically true for e-commerce, anything, or telecom for that matter. Telecom is fairly kind of, huge in that way. So the cost to serve the customer really doesn't come down, right? So you're always talking about, hire and train mode. 35% of people always been in training and providing, customer experience, which is not really acceptable. So, I have a few slides what we've looked at in terms of realistically, what is the saturated point analysis. Our hypothesis is that, we looked at the average contact center agent performance analysis, and we see that, there is a learning curve which starts between day 1 and day 70. So ideally, from whether it is your CSAT, whether it is your quality, whether it is, multiple matrices, an agent reaches, right, in an ideal best case scenario at 70 days is where he reaches. So by the time he starts delivering on, kind of parameters like AHT, CSAT, QA score, it goes to about 120 days. That's about 4 months. So before we kind of, get into solutioning mode, right, we've also looked at, almost about 500% of, 500 plus agents performance data, looking at their entire tenure in terms of, we've looked at day on day, week on week, going all the way for the whole year, just to look at various use cases, where you see that it's kind of fairly choppy and gets stabilized between 90 to 120. So, 61 to 90 and 90 to 120 is typically where you reach an ideal state. So these are some of the examples. We can obviously talk in larger detail, right, one-on-one. But moving on. This is for non-voice. Very similarly, you can see that, by the time an agent reaches an ideal level of, handling time, right, obviously there is a learning curve which goes down, but it takes anywhere between 8 months to 9 months for him to kind of actually be super productive for you in terms of what is your expected matrices. Similar with quality score. And we've also done an analysis of, how do you kind of correlate your CSAT with your tenure. So broadly speaking, let's look at the consequences. Most companies, whether are paying your employees, and you incur high costs, which are actually making your customers feel wow, right? So you make any calls to any contact center. Chances are it really depends on what kind of an agent you land up with. So that is one aspect of it. Second is there are revenue leakages, obviously, because of bad customer experience. Every time, at least on any platform, if you have a bad experience, the chances are that from a customer behavior standpoint, there is a leakage, direct and indirect revenue leakages. The hiring and training cycle continues, and higher cost to serve the customer. So it also kind of impacts the customer lifetime value. So, we've been around, for about 12 years trying to solve customer problems. We started off with a very, very basic concept saying that how do you enable agent assist? That's a word we kind of, picked up almost about 18 months back, saying that how do we ensure that an agent, irrespective of the tenure, considering that there is attrition, considering that there is training, how do you reduce the training cycle time? And how do you ensure that you focus on first-time correct resolutions? That's where the whole agent assist platform started off with. And today we have a fully integrated agent assist platform, which talks about, so this is the agent assist ecosystem that, we have come up with, which obviously kind of, use generative AI as well as, bots and ensuring that, humans are better enabled. So this is a typical example of, typical problems. 65% of all the calls that a contact center gets are pretty much, transactional, query-based, right? They want to know the status of their order. They want to know, probably calling for a refund, order not delivered, bad packaging, customer, kind of experience issues. Typically, 65 to 70% of problems that a contact center receives are repetitive, right? So we've looked at, right, one, ensuring that the agent's skill levels and their ability to kind of solve customer problems is enhanced, and add with a layer of, AI Copilot from whether it is a voice bot, chat bot, video bot, and having an effective quality management system. So what is CX First? So it's an AI-based recommendation to suit the first-time right resolution for the customers. So essentially what it is, it's got three elements, which is decision management system. A decision management system has got wave one, all your SOPs and all the knowledge that is existing within the system is converted into decision trees. Phase one is manual decision trees. Phase two, which is in beta mode right now, is more of utilizing generative AI. So essentially, right, we unleash the power of ChatGPT, right? Adding a layer of enterprise GPT, which ensures that ChatGPT, obviously, while it gives you answers to most of the queries that you have, it hallucinates. It may not kind of give you 100% accurate, outputs, which is actionable insights. So we have a generative AI-based hallucination-free support from scenarios available in the database. We look at NLP-based quality scoring, auto-recommendation over a period of time for training and improvement areas. Complex issues resolved first, the right time with the least training efforts. So we will talk about, obviously, kind of some bit of benefits basis on at least about 7-8 clients that we have tried to kind of do a pilot over the last 9 months. We've seen that the training time comes down very, very significantly, whether it is first-time training or refreshers. We've seen almost anywhere between a 30 to 50% reduction in overall efforts, and obviously increased resolutions. So we are looking at contact center needs, the customer needs, as well as the business needs. So this whole model works on guided workflows, and the whole premise is on ensuring that you are enabling the agents to solve customer issues right the first time. So this is basis on actual results with and without CX First, which we have deployed over about 8 different clients. So what we saw that in 31 to 60 days, right, agents were able to reach a quality score of about 90%, whereas in reality, without CX First or an agent assist platform, there are human errors, right? The reason, let's understand the whole training ecosystem. Most contact centers have at least about, customers could call you for about 100 scenarios. And most trainings or initial trainings focuses only on your top call drivers. That's a reality, right? 80% of your calls are relating to, a certain set of issues. That's what you cover. And there are limitations in terms of how much of knowledge retention an agent could have. Knowledge retention, right? So by the time he or she covers a fair amount of scenario, there are significant leakages. And that results in your lower CSAT and your, a quality score which is lower. So we've seen almost about 120 days improvement in performance with and without having an agent assist platform. CX First is just a name, but the whole concept is about ensuring that you're enabling the agents to kind of solve customer issues. We've seen, when I say 50%, there are multiple options. One is your new hire training. Second is, we are in a business, most of the businesses have daily updates. There are changes, there are people who are absent, right? There is shrinkage, there is attrition. How are you ensuring that every single agent has got all the information and has it on his fingertips to be able to kind of respond and solve customer queries? So we've seen that, and a 30% increase in productivity. Whether it is most of the customer service engines, whether it is your CRM, whether it is your telephony, or any other reference models, are broken. So in an e-commerce scenario, I'll give you a practical scenario. Your logistics systems, your own CRM systems, or anything else doesn't talk to each other, right? The reality is that typically, if you look at, any contact center, on an average, right, there's a fair amount of effort people spend on toggling between screens, on putting customers on hold, cross-referencing. So we have seen almost a 30% reduction in average handle time because using generative AI, right? Because I have an enterprise GPT which sits and utilizes the power of ChatGPT. I can just type a query. If it's integrated with your CRM, right? So long as I'm able to type the query, it cross-references all your SOPs and gives a solution within about 15 seconds, right? So that's almost like a 30% increase in productivity and a fair amount of reduction in quality. So CX first is just a name, but the whole idea is the importance of having an intelligent agent assist platform, because that is the future of ensuring that your service quality and your resolutions are much better. This is just a pictorial representation. These are actual results that we have seen over the last 6 to 9 months. We've seen a CSAT increase by about 5 to 10%. What is more important is your agent errors, right, kind of significantly comes down. Because if you look at a 0 to 30 or a 60 or a 90, right, a lot of knowledge-related issues crop up, and your agent fatal errors are typically around about 10 to 15%. From a pure contact center terminology standpoint, right, out of all your DSAT, if you do a DSAT analysis, typically the agent contribution would be about 25%, and obviously you have a process of, or a technology-related interventions. Out of all the engagements that we have done post-implementing CX First, we have seen a reduction from almost, about 15% on agent errors. So typically, that's a huge opportunity, unless and until, right, there is a willful error or whatever it is. So the system pretty much takes care of all possible scenarios. So I'll give you another brilliant use case. So we have over the last 1 year across multiple engagements, whether it is customer experience for e-commerce or for retail or for food tech, we've deployed almost about 1,500 to 2,000 seasonal agents for, so e-commerce, you have about 4 sales a year, right? So resources are required only for 30 to 45 days. But the reality is, your training time frame, if you were to really cover all the scenarios, would take, probably about 20 days, right? Does it make sense? This is a solution for us to kind of, an effective agent assist platform helped us, right? Able to hire about 1,500 odd agents and put them through a 3 or a 4 day refresher training with, kind of unleashing the power of CX, and the results from a CSAT or most of the matrices was pretty similar to what your BAU agents were, right? So that's one significant benefit that we could see, because you can definitely look at a quick deployment of agent and reduce training time. So this is more of a screenshot. We can, anyone interested wanting to know more about how Agent Assist platform can be kind of tailor-made for you, we can obviously have a conversation, post the presentation. So, it is not just a decision management system. What is important is that, out of your whole journey, how is your quality system able to give you actionable insights, right? Whether it is, are you picking the right calls? What kind of insights are you getting? In your decision management system or your decision tree, right? At what point did an agent commit an error, right? Where was a deviation done? So all that comes up, from our QMS. There is a 10 to 15% productivity enhancement for the QAs, the quality analysts that you have. The data is a lot more accurate, eliminated the NVAs part of it. So, we also kind of have speech analytics-led customer insights. So the model has, there are times that you may not, during a sale period, right? You want to kind of look at, there is a particular issue you want to solve, but you don't have, QAs, or you don't have enough number of people. You want to kind of look at, having an automated workflow. So, here, you can eliminate the whole manual QA and you can automate your whole quality monitoring process using your auto QA. And also has a capability of doing speech to text as well as speech analytics and customer sentiment analytics. You can run, product knowledge tests, digest tests, multiple things. So, the whole features list is endless. So, I'm stopping here. I really don't want to kind of, talk more about a product. I would kind of be more happy to kind of answer queries. Just to give a background about, Fivers Digital, this is more in terms of our journey roadmap. we started off as a social enterprise about 12 or 13 years back. And, today we still are committed to the cause of, improving employability, reducing poverty. We've kind of obviously got multiple awards and certifications from, government bodies, both India and abroad. We are committed to that. But what we are committed right now, we started off this journey, we are a women-owned enterprise, but today, right, over the last 1 year, we have invested significantly in terms of figuring out solutions for ensuring that the agents are successful. How do you ensure better customer experience for anyone who calls, irrespective of the channel they come, through. So more than happy to kind of, answer any questions that you may have, relating to CX First or from an agent assist platform.
Thank you so much, Bharat. And ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause to Mr. Bharat Malan, Chief Growth Officer from 5S Digital. And we'll take questions now from the floor. So the floor is open. Please raise your hand and we will get the mic to you. And please do introduce yourself and your organization and then the specific question. And before you ask the question, I would also like to tell you that Bharat and the entire team is there through the end of the day today till the award ceremony. So please feel free to reach out to him and his entire team, and they'll be more than happy to help you with your queries and to give you their solutions.
So the whole premise, just to kind of, without sounding philosophical, the answers to the biggest problems in the world are very, very simple, right? So the whole idea is to kind of, think very simple. If your contact center agent is successful, and if you're enabling him to give the resolution right the first time, right, ultimately your customers are going to be happy, right? How, each one of you reflect how many times have you called a contact center for, it could be for various use cases, and you're put on hold, right? I really get cheesed off when I have to go through an endless IVR, right? So I'll have to press this. I'm calling from a registered mobile number. Most systems don't even talk to each other, right? By the time I reach even your voice bot, your most of the voice bots, obviously kind of, these things could change maybe over maybe over a couple of years once the machine becomes more intelligent and learns from experiences. But as it stands right now, are you having a fantastic experience using a voice bot? Maybe or may not.
Thank you, Bharat. All right, now, Bharat, I request you to kindly be on stage.
Sure.
And I would like to call on stage Ms. Srimoy Dastidar, COE Lead and Customer Experience Head from Philips. Srimoy, thank you so much for doing the honors. That was Mr. Bharat M. Balan, ladies and gentlemen, with a fantastic presentation on Power Up Your Contact Centers by harnessing AI and human expertise from 5S Digital. Thank you, Bharat, for that wonderful session. Very enriching, I would rather say.